That'd be awesome. So, Jim, are you doing the toss today or Mark?
That's all right. No, you do it.
You do it. You call.
I'll call.
Mark's going to call. Righto.
Heads.
I think you got it.
No, heads again. Yeah, it is a head. So, Mark, you've won the toss. What would you like to do?
We'll go second.
Righto. So, Australia will be going out first. This is what it's all about. Mark, do you want to hold on to it? Yep. This is the Wayleggo Cup. This is what is up for grabs. Australia are the current holders of it. This competition has been held 38 times. New Zealand have the record though. They've won this 22 times, so Australia are keen to add more to their tally. So good luck to both teams today. New Zealand are going out the same. Mark Copeland will be out first, followed by Scotty Hunter, Ben Miller, and then Lloyd Smith will bring them home. Australia are going back to how they were in the first test, so they'll be led out by Grant Cook. They'll be followed by Dave Lacey, then Anthony Ireland and Jim O'Connell will bring them home. Good luck to both teams. We'll get going shortly. Okay, so we've got both our judges on the ground ready to go. Once again, Bernard McGlashan from Australia and Mr. Pat Coogan, excuse me, from New Zealand. Grant Cook, I'll grab a word from you, mate, as you come past. Pendelup Gilbert is your dog. Strong performer for you over the last two tests. How are you feeling this morning?
As always, apprehensive, Simone. No, looking forward to it. I think Gilbert's fine. Haven't really asked him too many questions. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it indeed. Good luck, Grant.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you're ready for a fantastic morning of sheepdog trialling. We've got the last test, Australia versus New Zealand, and it's tight at the top, only 20 points in it. And then that followed up with the top 10 for the Ultimate Dog Pro Supreme Sheepdog Championship winner. Grant Cook out there at the moment. Pendelup Gilbert. On this bright sunny morning, Gilbert's done a lovely deep cast out to the right once again. 3 fresh ewes. It'll be a question about how they work in the morning. They've had 2 tests, both in the afternoon. So changing conditions, changing time. I wonder if they'll graze. Will they settle nicely? What will they do? That's the question. That's what we'll find out. Let's see how he goes. So Australia in a good position, 20 points up.
Yeah, they've had 2 solid test performances, really. They've 3 of the 4 got home yesterday and shut the gate on the pen. New Zealand have had a little bit of bad luck, really. Only Ben Miller was able to shut the pen yesterday. But their scores were still good. They're solid, clean performers, the New Zealand team. So it'll be interesting to see how they go today. Maybe they might get a bit of luck today.
I was talking with the judge this morning and just getting some clarifications on a few things. And, you know, the pen's worth 20 points, but once that 20 points gone, they don't lose any more points. They can stand there until they get the gate shut, but the points are gone. So it's where you save the points around the ground that's critical because of this sectionalised approach to judging. Each component or section of the course is worth a certain amount of points. Each obstacle is included in that section. And once you step into that circle, you've banked your 10 points if you've done it well, and there's only 20 points that can be lost.
And that's right, and that's where they've been having the trouble at the pen, isn't it?
Certainly is. I mean, it's a valuable 20 points, absolutely. But when the sheep have gone around it 3 times, you're already halfway gone. And, you know, the stress is probably that you want to get the gate shut. You want to finish the trial, but it's not the end of the world.
That's right. You need to try and still save the points, don't you?
So Grant Cook's brought them down very nicely. They look pretty settled 3. Short, small one on the right-hand side, a couple of taller ones. Big guy in the middle looks to be the leader. And Gilbert's having a good influence. He's got them pretty settled nicely in the middle of the corridor. A little breakaway now. Just when you think they look good, they always seem to want to head for home, just wandering off course. It's been a tricky ground to keep them in those corridors. They just haven't liked to trot along behind you. And it's quite narrow, only 9 metres. So it doesn't take too much for the sheep just to get outside of those lines. And Gilbert's brought him back nicely now, and he's got him just walking along. And straight away they go back to grazing, so things haven't changed too much in the way the sheep are behaving. Grant's been a pretty solid performer throughout this test series. He'll feature again in the top 10 with a different dog. His team's performed pretty well. Had 3 in the top 20 and progressed through with Winger into the top 10. And here he is with Gilbert. So he's completed that section pretty nicely, lining them up now for the gap. They're having a bit of a look. Big guy's leading them through. And you'd be happy with that. They've just wandered through. They haven't taken off. They seem very settled. Gilbert's in a beautiful position just behind the lead sheep's eye. Just bending him towards the middle of that corridor, heading towards the Maltese cross. So far, so good. Good start. And that's a pretty little drive. He's done a beautiful job. Straight down the middle, straight towards that Maltese cross. And they're just about to walk straight in by the look of it. There they go. In they go. Grant to be relieved to get the part of the course out of the way. We saw yesterday Kiwi judge Pat Coogan asking that the obstacle we worked back around to the bottom part of that cross, sheep are not to come around the front. So So everybody's up to speed with that now. Around they come, straight through.
And they're making this look absolutely effortless this morning, aren't they?
That certainly was effortless. You can see Grant just helping the sheep along, and that's the job. It's a team effort. The dog's got his side, Grant's got his side, and you just tickle them along, keep them driving. Doesn't want to upset them, doesn't want some continual flow if he can without having to pause. And then they step into that free working area just in front of the obstacle. And now they can get their fancy footwork working, pointing them towards the bridge. Little bubble up there. Gilbert's in good position. Grant gets big. Oh, it's that big sheep again. Wanted to go and then changed his mind. Here we go. Rolls him around. And up he goes. That was good work. Bit of tension. Managed to do it beautifully. So straight into this last part of the course, the Australian section, the pen. This is all dog work. Grant's job is just to walk in the straight line and keep them up with him, within 9 metres of him, forward or backwards, and obviously on course. And that Gilbert just bulldozing that sheep forward. He did that beautifully. This is a pretty tidy run. So 10 points allocated from the bridge to the circle. Once Grant steps into that circle, he banks those 10 points if he saved them. There'll be deductions, of course, if they go off course and get left behind. And then it all starts for the 20-point pen. He's got them pretty well positioned. One sheep just having a look down the side. It's that gap between the bridge and the gate that he wants to try and block up. It's gone around just around the side now. So a little lap around that obstacle. I've just been able to scoot across the face of the obstacle or get around that gate, and it's been really, really tricky. And it's been a beautiful run, but that sheep just reared its ugly head there for a second. Here he goes again. He's that leader. There he is. Pops out in front. He's got a bit of a run on again. This time Gilbert comes around the back and puts up a block. And that seems to have worked a little better. Sheep's had a look. Where's he going to go? He thought about it. Oh, and he slipped down the side again. So a little bit of frustration comes in. Been a beautiful run. Sheep have behaved impeccably. Just until that little bit of pressure of that, what they see as a trap. And you can see that big sheep, he had a look in there and went, nope, there's no way out. So tried to come out past the dog. So here they go, this time. Just a little overrun by Gilbert. So he's got a ton of time, and that can give you more problems than you like. Those sheep are taking a really few metres off him now, headed off down towards the bottom of the hill. Gilbert just can't seem to persuade that single sheep to go in there. He's had a look a couple of times, but he's found that gap between Grant and the gate, and he's pretty happy to go through it or scoot around the back. The other two look okay. I think if the big guy goes in, the others will follow. And there's always one, isn't there? So a little bit of tension. Just not settled, that big guy. He was working beautifully around the course, led them all the way. Now just slipping past. He just spins on the spot and pushes himself between the gate and where Grant's standing. And you almost want to reach out and grab it. If only you could explain to the sheep, if he just pops into the pen, it'll all be over. As soon as he gets to the front, the pressure goes up and he's just swinging out again. In a little bit better position.
Oh, that's still not going to go in.
Just about got them in, and that single sheep took his opportunity as Gilbert was busy with the other one. Got him back again. They're right there.
It's going to back them into the pen.
Gets them in reverse. In they go. He said, not happy. Dog's in a good spot. Grant's going for the gate.
He's not taking any chances here,
No
is he?
chances taken. Grant Cook for Australia, and Gilbert getting the gate shut.
Grant Cook with Gilbert as they come off. A few deep breaths, Cookie. It was a pretty clean run up till the pen.
Was it that obvious?
It was a great run up until that pen. That one sheep just didn't want to play ball.
No, there's always one, Simone. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is what it is, and we shut the gate.
You did, and that's half the battle in this game, isn't it? Well done, you got us off to a good start.
Thank you.
Well done, Grant. Next out for New Zealand is their captain, Mark Copeland, with Don. I'll grab a quick word from Mark as he comes past. Morning, Mark. Won the toss this morning. Is that a good omen for you guys, do you think?
Well, it's nice to win something, isn't it?
It is nice to win something. How are you feeling about this third and final test?
Well, it's all in front of us. Every opportunity.
Absolutely, and you guys have been around the mark, haven't you?
Yeah.
Good luck this morning.
Thanks, mate. Roving reporter.
It's probably a bad choice of a tyre.
Good. So Mark Copeland
With Don.
with Don first. Competitor for New Zealand, sheep had come out, just drifted off to the right. Oh, they just got a little bit of a jump on then. For no good reason. Let's see what happens. They looked a little bit skittish coming out. And Mark has done a terrific job in the previous trials, but he seems to have been unfortunate in his sheep with always one, just giving him a little bit of trouble in their point pinches. And so far, he's got around those sheep, and we'll see what he does with his lift.
So the scores have come in for Australia's first worker, Grant Cook, working Pendle up Gilbert. The Australian judge gave him a score of 80.5. The New Zealand judge gave him a score of 77, which gives him a total of 78.75. So over the three tests, Grant has put up a combined score of 220.25. Strong, solid performance by Grant. He's managed to shut that gate 3 times, which is a great thing.
Well, he's pretty experienced, isn't he? He's been around the traps and he knows this course pretty well. And coming all the way from West Australia, where we don't really do the Trans-Tasman, he's made it his business to be up with all of the skills required, which is a little bit different to normal trialling. Just those drives, those assists in relation to shepherding, all of those things that make this course a little bit unique.
A lot of it comes down to good stock work though, doesn't it, Simon? You know, Grant comes from a farming property in WA, does a lot of sheep work. It certainly helps and is an advantage to be able to read your stock.
Yeah, brought up on a sheep farm, generational, and working sheep, you know, most days when he's not on the cropping program. So certainly very experienced, and he's also been trialling for many, many years. He started as a young man, had family connections with trialling, and certainly has won pretty much everything that's available. So Mark's done a good job. Don's got them down here. They look a little more lively than Grant's lot. They haven't put their heads down yet. Good solid bodies. A little bit of wool on them.
They look fairly even, these ones.
Nice even 3, yeah. And that's going to... always helps when you get 3 even sheep. Sometimes you get one tall one or one scrawny one, and it just becomes a problem. So maybe these 3 might give him a chance. But you can see that sheep on the left, closest to the dog, his head's pretty high, and we'll see what he does as he comes around with the pressure of that winding peg and the relief as he passes it. That's when we'll find out what that sheep's going to do. But at the moment, he's just looking at the dog a little bit, isn't she?
She is. Mark's very experienced handler. You can probably see Mark's pocket. He's got a lot of numbers on there. He's represented New Zealand a lot of times. Very experienced handler and worker. And of course he's been given the honour of being the New Zealand captain. He's travelled out here to Australia with his wife Robin, and I'm sure his kids are watching back in New Zealand.
Big following back home in New Zealand. Lots of support from home. And also here in Australia, a lot of Kiwis are watching and supporting the Kiwis on foreign soil.
There's no doubt they're very good at the game, aren't they?
Well, it's pretty much almost a a national sport after rugby perhaps, but they really do like their sheepdog trials.
And they like nothing more than beating the Aussies.
At everything.
It doesn't matter what sport it is.
Absolutely. So Mark and Don done a nice job, brought them down. A little bit twitchy, these three. You can see they're just a little bit more lively than Grant's three. Just having a little run on. Sometimes that can be the effect of the dog, the yellow colour of Gilbert. Settled those sheep pretty nicely. Whereas Don has this classical black and white heading dog. Plenty of power. They got a bit of a spook as they were let out. Wasn't really anything to do with the dog or the handler. Just got a bit of a jump on. So they've settled now. They're sitting in the corridor working nicely. You see how Don just puts a block at the front, then opens the gate and says, this is where you can go. Don't go here, don't go there. Gives them space where he wants them to be and puts pressure where he doesn't want them to be. And their heads are pointing off course at the moment, so he's just going to bend them back onto course. They're on the course at the moment, but that's where they're looking is the issue. He just rolls them around nicely, beautifully done. Okay, they just had a little jump up, that grazing behaviour. They just wander off outside of that corridor. Set up nicely. Straight through, lovely work. Mark, he's a cool customer, he's not in a hurry. The sheep are, they've got away from him a little bit, broken away. It's heading down the ground. He's switched over this time. Mark's taken the bottom side. Got the dog on the left. Mark's moving quickly. He's going to try and bend them off the fence. Just looking at Mark at the moment, not too impressed. Gets them going in the right direction, away they go. I haven't seen too many handlers take that bottom part of the ground throughout the whole series. Dog's taken the weight of the sheep, the draw, back down to the dog pro signs. Mark chose to do it this time. It worked okay. Just had that little pause in the middle where they just stalled for a moment. And they just tucked into the side of that obstacle, and Mark's putting some pressure on now. They're just not settled. He's going to switch over and come on the other side. See if he can get the dog to carry the weight of the sheep, the draw. Get them to have a look down that Maltese cross. And Don just edging closer. Yeah, that one same sheep that just showed itself just at the winding peg. As it went around the winding peg, it put itself dog side. And it's the same one with a little bit of wool on its head, the one that's facing the dog now, that one there. That's the one I'd be worried about. Straight through. Well done, Mark. Kept his cool, kept it calm, got it done. Second half of the Maltese cross. Fantastic to see the stockmanship, the handlers getting to do some of the work themselves. Fancy footwork, making themselves big, applying pressure to the sheep, and then understanding about direction and movement, where to apply the pressure, how to get the dog supporting. Beautifully done. So Mark's away, he's carrying the bottom again. The sheep just got a little bit of a trot on. Stayed on course. Mark switches sides. It's a short drive, but it's uphill and there's a bit of weight in the sheep, so sometimes they do just get a bit stuck coming up that hill. That sheep pops his head up and runs again, heading towards the bridge. Across the line into the free working area. You see that dog just picking the sheep that's going to give him trouble, lining him up. Certainly going to be interesting when the pen comes up with that sheep. He just seems to want to roll out of everything. Here we go. What's going to happen here? Get them pointing the right. Up they go. That was really nicely done. So he's got here in pretty good time. Just going to get to that handler's circle, bank those 10 points if he can, save as many as he can. Each time they take a step out of the course, the judge will be deducting. And each time they get away from him, and each time they go around the pen as well. At the moment they're sitting pretty good. Got to be quick. Let's try and stop them from getting around behind. He's done that. Don's there already. Went the long way, but he got there. So Mark steps into that handler's circle, brings Don around. They're a little bit tricky at the bridge. Let's see what they do at the pen. That sheep on the right hand side closest to the dog, he can see freedom. Don just turns him back in. Pretty tight. And scooting along that gate. It's been tough, that part of the course. Once they figure out there's a gap between the handler and the gate, they like pretty happy to go down it. And it's tough for the dog. Here we go again. Oh, they've had a bit of a gallop. And away they go. Don's just broken out a little bit far and he's allowing him to get away. And they've taken up all that country. We thought that sheep might give us some grief, and sure enough, when the pressure came on, he just popped up and galloped away. Seems like there's always one in every crowd. He's running again, he's running pretty hard. Mark swings him around the back of the pen, pulls him up nicely. It's just that gateway where they slip down the gateway. Just gives them a little bit too much room, perhaps. Here we
think
go,
he's
have a
got
look.
them.
Oh,
Oh.
they just turned their heads out. At the last second, round he goes again.
Has he got him now?
Oh, and he slams them in.
Yeah, he has.
Oh, Mark wasn't mucking around. He gets the gate shut for New Zealand.
That was Mark Copeland with Don. Lovely to see him pen.
Yeah, he's had a tough week, hasn't he?
He has.
And they haven't played well. You can see the dog gives them a bit too much room sometimes. And that's the difference between the Kiwi dogs and the Australian dogs. We're used to those light, flighty sheep and block and cover. Whereas these guys are more inclined to those heavy sheep that lean on the dogs. They've got to push around. And I guess that's where the pen's been the undoing a little bit.
It has been. So anyway, we'll see if we can catch a word with Mark as he comes off. Comes off. I think you'd be a little bit happier with that run, Mark.
I'm never that happy, Simone, but my mouth's very dry. What does that tell you?
I reckon it tells me that you've been working pretty bloody hard out there.
Nearly as hard as him.
It was nice to see you shut the gate on the pen.
Yeah, very pleasurable. Good start.
Yeah, well done. A great start for New Zealand. That was their captain, Mark Copeland. Australia's next competitor is David Lacey with Brands Hatch Tusker. Man of few words, but I'll try and grab one as he comes past. Dave's had two really solid performances for Australia, and he'll be looking to put up another big one this morning. Big day for Dave. He's also in the top 10 this afternoon of the Supreme. Quick word from you, Dave. How you feeling this morning, mate?
All we can do is hope for the best and do our best.
Absolutely. Good luck to you, Dave.
So Dave Lacey, second competitor for Australia this morning. Beautiful morning with Tusker. Tusker's done a terrific job, and Dave's done a terrific job in his two tests so far this competition. Let's see if he can repeat his performance. They like this dog. The sheep have liked this dog. He just floats around them and has an impression, doesn't upset them. And he's been the right dog for the job. Progress through the top 10 as well, so he'll have a big day today. Let's see how he goes on his draw as Tusker arrives to introduce himself to those three sheep.
And the scores have come in for New Zealand's first worker, Mark Copeland with Don. The Australian judge gave him a score of 63. The New Zealand judge gave him a score of 76, which gave him an average of 69.5. So over the three tests, Mark has put up a score of 186.
He would have been relieved to get that gate shut because he struggled a little bit with that, and I don't think he would have banked the 20 points. He probably would have blown them by the amount of running around. But it's just a psychological thing, isn't it, to get the course completed?
It's that satisfaction of closing the gate, isn't it?
Mm. So Dave Lacey's out here. Dave's been pretty much the star performer for Australia this test.
He certainly has. He's been the highest scorer for Australia over the first two tests. Strong, solid performances, and the sheep don't seem to have disliked this dog. They've not run off. We haven't had the big breaks that some of the other dogs have had.
You can see how he just tippy-toes around them. He's very careful. He's in the right position most of the time, and when he does get them moving, he takes the pressure off. So the sheep appreciate that.
Yeah, they're not fussed at all with this little dog.
So after the first round, we're still neck and neck, Australia versus New Zealand, with a little break for Australia that they carry over from the first two tests.
And we've of course gone back to an aggregate of the scores. That was New Zealand's insistence. Australia were looking for clear winner for each test, and if that was the case, Australia would have already won the series, having won the first two tests, but it has always been an aggregate up until recently, and that's how they'd like it to stay. So it's the highest aggregate over the three tests. So New Zealand are still well and truly in this.
Yeah, and I guess it keeps the interest in that what would have been a dead rubber today, because there is a chance, still a big chance, of New Zealand coming up and pinching it, even though they've trailed through the first two tests. That ability to combine scores as a total aggregate can give them a chance to come home and take the prize. So they would be there's plenty to fight for.
Absolutely, there is. They've had a little bit of bad luck yesterday, really. Only Ben was able to shut the gate on the pen, but it wasn't that they performed badly. They just had one sheep that didn't really want to cooperate.
Yeah, and these have been tricky. They're little touchy little merinos, and you know we found them tricky in the Interstate Challenge in the lead-up trials, and they've just continued that way. They're a little more settled around the course, but just when you start to put something on them, and that's at the pen, they just seem to bubble up and give you some trouble.
That's right. Of course, for our listeners and viewers at home, we're very lucky to have Simon Leaning providing commentary for you through this test series. He's an accomplished handler himself and competed for Western Australia in the Ted Gaby Interstate Challenge. You probably would have rather been out here working, I would have said, Simon.
Yeah, I was a little bit unlucky, but you know, luck's part of it, and it was a tight competition in the Interstate Challenge. It was very few points between the top few, but these guys that are out there at the moment, they're doing a great job for Australia, and we're really proud of their performance.
We certainly are. Dave was a member of the Victorian team, and he certainly put up some really solid performances for Victoria.
Yeah, both Grant Cook, who worked earlier, he was from Western Australia, has been a regular representative for Australia, and Gilbert's first time in the team, and Dave's represented previously and been just an outstanding trialer for a number of years now for Victoria. Pretty hard to beat on his day, and he's been rewarded for all his effort by getting into the team.
He certainly has. He's probably a unique situation that he's represented for three states, Dave. He represented for Western Australia when he and Vicky lived over there, and they moved to Queensland, and he got the opportunity to put on the maroon blazer for Queensland, and of course now for Victoria, where they've chosen to retire.
So Dave Lacey and Tusker have done a nice job just settling those sheep. Took his time, tried to break them a little bit, and they're almost walking with Dave. They really don't seem too fussed at all. So nice three sheep at the moment. Don't want them to get too heavy where they won't move, but they're just tickling along nicely, and Dave just keeps Tusker floating around out there, keeping him off, putting up the fences and keeping those sheep beautifully on course at the moment. And they're behaving pretty well. Nice conditions for sheep work. It's cool, sunny, not too much breeze. Nice time of the day for the sheep. And you'll see them change as the day goes on. Usually around lunchtime, middle of the day, they don't like to be up and about. And then they start to come good again in the evening, in the afternoon, as they would be coming out to graze. The early mornings can be a good time to work sheep, but sheep being sheep, it's not always the case. So Dave's made his way down to that first obstacle, steered them straight through, and that's as nice as you'd see that section done, I think. And Tusker's just got out to the front of those sheep, blocked them up, waiting for Dave. And just roll past that shoulder, try and keep them pointing in the right direction. Tusker's just bringing them along towards Dave now, and Dave will straighten them up. There he goes. Now they're on, into the drive. Tusker's just getting ahead of them, pulling them up a little bit. Oh, Dave's got his skates on.
Nearly fell over out there.
Just try to stay within 15 metres of their sheep, because that's the course. So that's why they scoot along quickly. They try to keep pace with the sheep, but sometimes when you accelerate, the sheep accelerate, and it becomes a running race. And I'll tell you who's going to win that one. So the three sheep have just stepped through that multi. Oh, they've stepped in and turned. Well, that was a bit unfortunate for Dave. Just did a direct right-hand turn. So he has to bring them back around. Well, now we've got the sheep a little bit stirred up. He had them beautiful, and just a little bit of pressure changes things. It's just that drive. It just got away from him a little bit, and Tusker was running and Dave was running, and now the sheep have just all got their heads up in the air. So Dave will spend a minute here, just try to settle them down, point them into the obstacle. Doesn't need them going down there again. Tusker's there. Oh, he's run past. See if he can salvage it. Gets them through. Nice little bit of stock work. Sheep have come around the wrong way, so I'll need to sure the judge will want here whether you want him to bring him back and unwind. He's bringing him back around. See Dave just feeling a little bit of pressure right now. He's taking his time, but just this little bit of a hiccup now is costing him a little bit. Lead sheep, got to bend him. Oh, nicely done, Tusker. David.
Oh, they're not.
He's flipped him out again. Just a little bit hectic. Oh, and that sheep's had a run.
Here we go.
This time, here we go. Oh, they've come out the other side. That's frustrating. Every time he gets them to the middle, they make a right or left-hand turn, not the way they need to go. See if he can just, as a team, get him to walk out. Here we go, this time.
Oh,
Out they come. Well, that's a relief for Dave. That was tough work. They just didn't want to go through that Maltese cross. They wanted to go everywhere else, it seemed. He's got them and he's away, and he hasn't stepped out of the free working area yet. He's setting his sheep up, and away he goes, heading towards the bridge. But those three settled nice sheep have just bubbled up a little bit, and now they've become three individuals. See if he can just get their heads right as he walks up this drive, up the hill. Starting to graze a little bit. Heading towards that free working area into the bridge. Dave's there again.
Oh, that was
Tusker,
good work.
beautifully done. He was onto that. No mucking around, straight through.
Dave's on his way to the pen now.
So here we go. This has been the tricky part of the course. These sheep, they weren't very nice at the cross. They were pretty good at the bridge, but Tusker, he stood up there and did exactly what he needed to do. He knew the job, and that's the experience and training in these high quality sheepdogs. Just had a little bit of a wonder. Still on course. Dave's heading towards that circle. He's done a nice job. He got him settled a little more. Kept him in his pocket. Here they come looking at the pen. Tusker sends him around behind the pen. They found the gap. Tusker's there, catches them up nicely. Oh, and a little bit of luck. Straight in. Dave's going for the gate. Tusker covers the gap. Dave Lacey for Australia, getting the gate shut.
We'll grab a word with David Lacey with Tusker as he's coming off. I was a bit worried you were going to pull a hammy, mate, from the gap to the Maltese.
Oh, look, when things go wrong, you always blame your dog, not yourself. Perhaps
I'm not sure who was doing the running, mate, you or the dog, but well done. That was Dave Lacey with Brands Hatch Tusker, second worker out for Australia in this third and final test. Next out for New Zealand is Scott Hunter with Lucy, and we'll grab a word from Scott as he comes out. Morning, Scott. How you going, love?
How you going today?
I'm well, thank you. We're looking for a bit of good luck today for you, mate.
Yeah, hopefully we get a good lot of sheep. It'll be just good to get a good lot.
You've had strong performances, mate, just been unlucky not to get the pen.
Yep, we just need the wee birdie on our shoulder today and we'll be away.
You won the toss, so hopefully a bit of luck is your way today.
Thanks, Mum.
Thanks.
So Scott Hunter with Lucy, second competitor for New Zealand, sends his dog out in a big right-hand cast. Pulls up nicely, we'll see what he can do. That first introduction, critical to the trial, get them on good terms. They set up nicely, they came out well, haven't done too much so far. Look nice and settled. Just having their first contact with the dog, rolling around. Let's see what he can do on this straw.
So the scores have come in for David Lacey with Brains Hatch Tusker. So the Australian judge gave him a score of 67. The New Zealand judge gave him a score of 70, which gave him a score of 68.5. So over the 3 tests, Dave has put up a score of 231.25 for Australia. So really strong performance from David Lacey today. A little bit of trouble there, but he still managed to shut the gate on the pen.
Yeah, he just lifted a little bit at that cross, didn't he? And you could see as he went through the gap and headed towards the Maltese cross that things were a little bit out of his control. He felt out of control. He had to run. He got a bit of a stutter in his run. He had a bit of a trip. The dog just panicked and got to the head, and just things got a little bit out of his control there.
Oh, they did. And I think the dogs can pick up, can't they? Like if the handler is a little bit on edge and a bit nervy, and, you know, Dave was, you know, a bit more energetic today. He hadn't had to do that in the last 2, and I think Tusker picked up on that today.
He's had such a good test series. He's done 2 terrific runs. And I guess the pressure to maintain that standard can get you after a little while. And he's come out here. He's one of those characters that, you know, pressure is not his friend. And he's come out and he's felt it a little bit today.
He has, but he still managed to get the job done, so which is really pleasing for Australia.
Absolutely. Got the gate shut, put a good score up, and he keeps us in the lead.
That's right. We've got Scott Hunter out here now from New Zealand with Lucy. Scott's had 2 solid runs for New Zealand in the first 2 tests. Unfortunately, luck hasn't gone his way. He hasn't been able to shut the gate. He's looking for a bit of luck out here today.
And he's got these sheep just weaving backwards and forwards a little bit. They're not lifting in a straight line as he would have liked. And just having little runs left and right. Not too much damage done, but these are all the things that, you know, he'd be concerned about as he's about to approach that winding peg, because they just don't seem as nice and relaxed as some of the other sets that we've had.
Their dogs certainly work differently to our Aussie dogs, don't they? Yeah, the way that they work.
Super well trained. I mean, you know, they drop on a dime, but you can see how he pulls his feet out to move sideways instantly on the whistle. Our dogs are a little bit more maybe concentrated, maybe a little bit more faster in cover. These guys are more forward in their movement, very happy to walk straight in on sheep. And those confrontations they're having like one now, that would be a mistake if the sheep had to deal with that dog, because that dog would deal with it very comfortably, I'm sure.
There's no doubt that the New Zealand dogs are certainly well trained. I remember going over to New Zealand with Stefan early in the piece, and there'd be 100 dogs all pegged to the fence and not a sound come out of them. Whereas if that was in Australia, they'd be pulling the fence over to try and get to the sheep.
Certainly if that was my dogs, there wouldn't be a fence. So Scott Hunter and Lucy completed that first section. Sheep a little bit excited, not out of control, but just a bit jumpy. It might be the presence of Lucy that's caused it, but Just had a bit of a zigzag down the course as they came. They're on course here now. He's doing a good job as they went around that winding peg. No particular sheep stood up at the moment to say he's going to be a problem, and that's always encouraging. They seem to be good three that's sticking together pretty tightly. Good three even set again. As he steps into that handler circle, and they just had a little bit of a run on then. They just felt something, pressure of the obstacle, pressure of the dog. Lucy was quick to get around and block them up. He's got a leader now, looking in the right direction, trying to slip down the side actually. And Lucy was there just putting herself in a great position, just right on the wing. Doesn't need them to slip down. She's stepping in. Just push them past that dog pro sign. Rolls them around. Bit better position now. One's come the wrong way. Oh, Lucy was just right there to save it. And there they go. That's where he wanted them. Away they go. So Scott takes his position on that drive. And this has been really impressive from the Kiwis. The way they just sit their dogs in behind the lead sheep, take up a position and form that beautiful triangle. Just a little pause. So very different to the Australian trials where you're allowed to stop. Not permitted, well, you are allowed to walk backwards, but there would be a deduction if they did. A big deduction for stepping backwards, and not allowed to step out of those corridors, got to stay within those corridors. He can switch sides with his dog if he wishes. He can stop as he has, but he's not allowed to get in front of that lead sheep, or once again, a deduction in points. Everything is points. There's no real disqualifications. Just lose sections at a time, and he's done that pretty well. He's got himself presented at the Maltese Cross. Sheep are grazing, sitting pretty nicely in front of it. He's going to try and get that sheep to have a bit of a look down there and see where they can go. One's had a look. Once he got him going, he didn't muck around. Dog covers that side, make sure they don't come out this side. And away they go, so that was pretty nicely done. They stopped nicely, they didn't peel off, which is good. Lucy just brings them back around. A little bit of run, but they're right there, well positioned. So the dog will get movement and Scott will get direction. Lucy just stepping in now, bringing that tail up. Scott rolls their heads around and straight through. Lovely work. And we're off to the bridge. Lucy, Scott Hunter. Representing New Zealand in this 3-test series. Just a little pause now. They're just rolling around. Once again, they're heavy up the hill. Scott gets them moving. Lucy holds her side, heading to the bridge. Step into that free working area. Setting him up, got the lead. Oh. Great little bit of cover from Lucy. Oh, she's come out. Oh, goodness. Oh, that sheep was right in the right position, but two went, one came out. Hopefully the other two will take him across, show them the way. It was just a bit unfortunate. Just spun out. This time he's had a little look. Takes him over, that's the way.
Scott has an impressive set of whistles, doesn't he?
Scott's heading now to the pen. He's done a great job so far. Couple little bubbles, little hiccups. Nothing serious. Plenty of time to get them in if he doesn't have too much trouble, but I don't know what will happen here because that one sheep at the bridge just reared his ugly head. So we wonder, will she lead him in or will she lead him astray? Positioned, sitting nicely. As we saw, they can spin on a dime. They look good, and all of a sudden they pop out. He's edging towards her. He turned out. Lucy was there. Good work. Direct some of them back in. And that's nicely done. Beautiful pen. So they're sitting nicely. He's not mucking around. Get that gate shut. Scott Hunter and Lucy getting the gate shut for New Zealand.
Oh, that must feel so good for Scott and Lucy. They've had a bit of bad luck really in the first two tests and haven't been able to get that gate shut. So to see them shut the pen in this third test is a great thing for New Zealand and for Scott Hunter and Lucy.
He really did it pretty easily in the end, didn't he? It didn't have any trouble at all. And we've seen a lot of trouble at the pen from all the other handlers. But Lucy just seemed to go, OK, you're going in, and just made them go.
He certainly did. I'll try and grab a word from him. I reckon he'll be happy to talk to me today. I'll try and get a word out of Scott. I reckon you'd be happier to talk to me today, Scott.
Yeah, it's good to have a wee bit of luck there and finally have a complete for the team. So, no, really happy.
That was great work, particularly there at the pen. You made it look effortless.
Yeah, no, a wee bit of luck there, so it was great. No, really enjoyed it.
Oh, good on you. So that's Scott Hunter from New Zealand. He was our second worker out there. Third worker out for Australia today is Anthony Ireland, and he'll be working Oak Downs Banjo. We've had two workers each now, two for Australia and two for New Zealand. We'll try and grab a quick word from Anthony as he comes out. He's just taking the collar off his dog. This is Anthony's third time representing for Australia. How are you feeling this morning, Anthony?
Same as always, a bit nervous.
That's a good thing. All the best to you this morning.
No worries, thanks, Simone.
Anthony Island, and Banjo takes his place at the handler's post. Representing Australian, 3 sheep have come out, and they don't look pretty good at the moment. Bit of work to do to settle these 3 before they can be lifted. Just come out jumping. And heading down the fence. So they want a good set before they release the dog. They want to make it fair for everybody. And at this point, judges decided we don't want those sheep. They haven't set up nicely, and it's got to be fair for everyone, so they'll pull them off. And we'll get 3 new ones. So just a little bit of a break in the action while Anthony Island and Banjo come away.
We do have some scores have come in now for Scott Hunter with Lucy. So the Australian judge gave Scott a score of 83. The New Zealand judge gave him a score of 85.5, which gave him a total of 84.25. That's a phenomenal run this morning from Scott Hunter and Lucy. I think they'll make him a happy man after the last couple of tests.
It was a pretty good run, only that little hiccup at the bridge where the sheep came out, really, didn't it? Didn't go round though, although it's still probably a 3 or 4 point deduction because of that, but it's not the end of the world when something like that happens.
No, not at all. Yeah, no, it's bringing New Zealand well back into play now. So after 2 workers for both countries. Anthony's had a bit of trouble here. Banjo's gone looking for sheep. Anthony's just trying to call him back. But after the first 2 workers for Australia, we're now sitting on a total aggregate of 699.75, and New Zealand are sitting on 686. So Australia have got a narrow lead still, with 2 workers each to come. Anthony's managed to call Banjo back, thankfully.
So Banjo's given himself a warm-up lap.
He has. Certainly keen to work. It's a bit hard when you're trying to hold him at the peg, isn't it?
So Anthony Island set to go again. Banjo had a little bit of a warm-up lap. Called him back. He thought he was ready to go. He didn't want to wait around. Let's see these 3 come out. Little jump again. I just wonder if the time of the day is making a difference with these sheep. They just haven't come out. It's nice, last couple. Setting up this time, judges happy. Banjo's away. This time, Banjo, there's some sheep out there for you. So Anthony Island and Banjo representing Australia. Narrow lead to the Australians. New Zealanders have pegged the Australians back a little bit, putting up some good runs. So it's going to be tight. So Banjo's arrived. Let's see what he can do on the draw with these 3 fresh sheep. Nice cool day out there for the dogs, and it's good for the sheep as well. So we haven't seen that like last night or like yesterday afternoon. Some of the dogs felt the temperature a little bit. It was warm out there, and with the green grass and the humidity, pretty hard for dogs to really get cool. And that concentration, it's a brain tiredness they get rather than a physical tiredness, because of the concentration of 3 sheep. Causes them to really be intensely concentrating, and it's a different type of tiredness.
Certainly is. I think there's some very tired handlers and some very tired dogs at the end of this week. It's been a long week.
Look, there's always pressure representing your country, and you always really want to do well. But sheep are sheep, and sometimes they don't allow everything to go perfectly. So you do the best you can in the circumstances with what's presented. And, these guys would have had a pretty sleepless night, you would think.
I would think so. All four of these Australians are all strong performers in their home states. Anthony has been a real strong performer in South Australia, where I come from, and this dog, Oakdowns Banjo, is bred by Neil and Lynn Samble and is the current South Australian Dog of the Year. So he's been a strong performer for Anthony over the last 12 months. And interestingly, Banjo's littermate, Oakdowns Sammy, worked by Tom Joyce, represented Australia over in New Zealand a couple of tests ago. So there's some good pedigree in this dog.
It's nice to see families of dogs, throwing that quality. And, Tom Joyce was a pretty new handler when he was representing Australia, so the dog must have been of a very high standard.
She was, and she was fairly young, as was Tom, but they didn't let Australia down. They put up some strong performances. Unfortunately, we lost that test in New Zealand. We were just beaten by a better side at the time. But it wasn't for want of trying. I know Stefan was the team captain that year when we went over, and Tom Joyce was an interesting team. We had 2 South Australians in that team and 2 New South Wales in that team, whereas this year we've got 4 different states represented, which is a great thing.
Shows the quality of trialling across Australia, where individuals from any state can get a spot, and it certainly was fought out early this week in the Interstate Challenge, and it came down to details more than individuals getting destroyed, although some of the sheep did put it to some of the handlers in those earlier runs.
They did. There were some very good dogs that missed out on selection, but these 4 that have made it have certainly done well, and you can see why they're there.
So Anthony and Banjo have made it down to that winding peg. Done a good job. No mucking around. Pretty straight. And Banjo's warm-up lap didn't cost him too much. He seems to be pretty fit. He's got them nicely positioned in that corridor as he heads down towards that first obstacle. And Banjo's got his head up, chest up. Catching that lead sheep, nice shape around his sheep. Just a little breakaway off to the left. As Anthony heads towards that handler circle. Just bring him back behind him if he can. Once again, the sheep heads down grazing. Banjo steps in, shoves them back on course. You see the influence this dog has on them. It's all different. Some of the Kiwi dogs have got them jumping. They just seem to walk off Banjo nicely. Don't seem to be too frightened by him. But they're still impressed enough to not take him on. It's good quality to have in your dog. And he points them towards that gap, and first one's led through nicely. And away they go. Anthony Island for Australia heading towards that Maltese cross. Banjo takes his side. Anthony takes top side. And they're just walking along beautifully at the moment. Bernard McGlashan, the Australian judge, scooting around the fence line. He'll have a good sleep tonight. He's done some kilometres. used the buggy, he just wanted to walk. Felt he could see better. As they approach that free working area for Maltese Cross. We've seen in a couple of runs where they bubbled up a little bit here. Banjo's in a good position on their heads. Anthony holds his side. As they head towards the Maltese Cross. In they go. Straight through this time. Anthony sends his dog around the front. And the second part of the cross is almost started already. One's just not quite in yet. Just grazing a little bit. That big sheep's got his head up, looking for somewhere to go. Hopefully it's into the cross. He's turned. Anthony's there, just enough pressure to get them walking. And through they go, nicely done. Banjo comes in behind them just to make sure they're clear and they're away for the drive. Anthony's going to take his bottom side again. He's got them to get a motor on. They've just got to be a bit quicker than Anthony, those three. Banjo picks up the other side. Try and push him back on course. Heading towards that free working area. Anthony comes in behind. He wants to be on this side. A bit more natural for the dog to be there. Banjo blocks them up nicely. Leads the sheep, goes straight up. And they're on the bridge. Off they come. So far so good, looking nice and tidy, gentle touch of the sheep to get them moving. And even when they're making a run, they don't do it in a real committed way, they're just having a little bit of an amble. So the all-important pen for Anthony Island. He's managed to pop them away in his previous two runs.
He has, yep.
I think he just timed out at the pen yesterday, just not getting the gate shut, if I remember correctly.
No, I think he did get home, didn't he? I think it was only Jim that didn't shut the gate yesterday.
Perhaps he did.
Don't know, it's been a big week, Simon. Danny Rubin, our tech guru, he would concur. It's been a big week for Danny.
So here they go. This is the test. What can he do? They look good. They look in. Sheep just turning his head a little bit. Looking towards that pen. Oh, he's just turned out at the critical minute. Banjo's there. Anthony reverses him off, takes the pressure off. Sheep on the outside's not happy. Banjo steps in, gets one, gets two, covers that side.
Looks like he's got him, Simon.
They're in the pen. Anthony's going for the gate. Things look good. They look settled. Anthony Ireland with banjo for Australia, getting the gate shut.
Nice solid performance there from Anthony with banjo. That's 3 pens for banjo in this test series. Anthony would be pleased with that.
It's almost his specialty, isn't it? I know he had a bit of trouble yesterday. I wasn't sure if he'd timed out, but he certainly had us on the edge of the seat in that last run. And this run, he's done it pretty easily.
He has. Should be a good score for Anthony. We'll bring it to you as soon as we have it. I'll try and grab a word from Anthony as he comes off the ground. He's our current Australian president, Anthony. So there's a lot at stake here, isn't there, really?
He's done a great job.
Bit relieved, bit nervous at that pen. I've seen it come unstuck a few times, so a bit nervous there.
Did beautiful work there at the bridge.
Yeah, no, it was quite good. So yeah, lucky to get away with it.
He was pretty keen. I didn't think you were going to hold him there at the start.
No, he's that way inclined. He thinks if there's a job to be done, he's going to go do it, and sometimes he takes it into his own hands.
You're a bit unlucky, really, with that release. You had to hold him for that little bit longer, but well done. You got home. 3 pens, you'd be pretty happy with that.
Yep, thanks very much, Simone.
Good on you, Anthony.
See ya.
That's Anthony Ireland. He was a third worker for Australia with Oak Downs Banjo. Oh, look, Ben Miller with King is the next competitor out. He's shaking his head. He doesn't want to have a word. He's focused. So good luck to Ben Miller from New Zealand with King. I'll catch you on the way off.
good.
So just a little break in proceedings. Ben Miller with King heading out now for New Zealand, ready to go. So judges ready, Ben's ready, King's ready. And we'll see what three sheep come out like. They come out pretty well so far. They look good. Three even sheep again. Been really good this morning. Nice even sets. Giving everyone a chance. So King's away, sweeping out to the right-hand side. Looking inwards. Nice and deep, almost on the fence. Look at that. Kicks up dust. Pulls up. Such an impressive dog. Let's see what he can do with this three sheep. I'll let him go with his draw. I'll leave it back after the winding peg. So a little discussion from the judges. Not sure what they were discussing at this point. We'll find out, no doubt. But Anthony Island scored an 89.5, giving Australia a real boost. Out there at the moment is Ben Miller, young Ben Miller from New Zealand. And King. And King's taken the top side of the ground. The draw seems to be up the ground this time with these three, which is a bit unusual. They've all run down the hill. And King is just carrying them nicely on that draw towards the winding peg. And steering them. Ben's been a good performer for New Zealand, put up two good runs so far. Has been an outstanding contributor to New Zealand, and he and his partner and a few of the other guys have put together quite a list of sponsors for the New Zealand Test team. Purina Zoetis, Westmere Farming, Ernst Clough High Country Genetics, Catalyst Performance Agronomy, Devold, Vetpack, Dog and Country, Skeffingtons, Martin Suftex, Tage Engineering, and it looks like a whole range of agricultural industries have supported the New Zealand team, and that is a credit to the country and the communities that have got behind this team.
We've had a score come in for Anthony Island with Oak Downs Banjo. The Australian judge gave him a score of 88. The New Zealand judge gave him a score of 91, which gave him a score of 89.5.
Well, that's a pretty good result for Anthony. It certainly puts Australia back in the box seat a little bit.
It certainly does, but we've got Ben Miller out here at the moment with King. He's been a really strong, solid performer for New Zealand. He's penned twice, and he'll be looking to shut that gate again.
So Ben Miller and King have successfully competed that, bringing the sheep through behind the winding peg, and they're away up the corridor. And so far things have gone pretty smoothly. He's worked them beautifully, pretty settled. Sheep look pretty good. Dog's handling them nicely. King. So head down that corridor towards that first winding peg. Sorry, towards that first obstacle. Little jump, little twist and little turn. Heading back up the ground, not ideal. So a perfect score would be them in that corridor between the two lines, walking pretty much on Ben's hip, within 9 metres of him, and that would be ideal. Dog carrying them on the right hand side. So those turnbacks are not ideal, and certainly when they step out of the corridor, not ideal. The judges will be deducting for those little indiscretions. And then each time they get around an obstacle, there's a deduction of points. Starting to line up now for that first gap and straight through. Ben's done a beautiful job. King goes to the front, holds those sheep, keeps them on course, and they're away for their drive. Ben Miller just moving those sheep beautifully down the corridor. King at great distance, able to influence the sheep nicely. It's pretty tidy. Just a little stalling right now, just before they enter that free working area across the line. Ben just holding his end, trying to get those sheep to step across. Here they go. Towards that opening. Well lined up. A little slip down the side maybe. And they're pretty quiet little sheep at the moment. They're not too worried. Just notice Ben standing there. Pops his head up. They just bubbled up a little bit. Point them in the right direction, through they go. Nicely done. Brings them round, bends them through, straight through, no trouble at all. And away they go to the bridge. He's taking care of these three very nicely, got them relaxed, grazing away. King steps in, just bubbling up a little bit at the front of the bridge. Haven't had a look yet. One has now. Will he take him over? He certainly will. Up they go. And off. Pretty nicely done. Just had a little stir up there, but nothing to worry about. King covered his side, Ben covered his side, and away they went. So an all-important pen beckons. Ben Miller for New Zealand heading towards the pen. King just steering them from behind. Nice relaxed stance. Keeps that tail ticking along. Got them well positioned in the middle of that corridor, beautifully positioned. So far it's been a pretty good run. A little skip along. Ben just puts the block behind the pen. Doesn't let them get around. They just got a little bit of an acceleration just going across the face of that pen. So far they haven't really looked to go in. King's there again. This time they get down the side. They're having a bit of a run, but King's there. He's got them. And bring them back around. Sends King out wide. Let's see if he can bring them back towards the hinge of that gate. That seems to be the best place to put them, just so they can roll into that open pen face. Oh, a little runaway this time. King just got caught a little bit deep and had to work hard to get back. Have a look. On the edge. Time's no issue. Plenty of time to get them in. He just needs the sheep to cooperate a little bit at the moment. They really aren't. Very happy to go round and round. Sets them up this time. Bend one in. That's better. Oh, they've come in. They've decided to come out again. King was there, did a great job, but they're not happy. Turns him in. Ben. Ben went for the gate and they just jumped out on him. He's got time to get him back. What can he do? Time's getting away from him. He's got to keep moving. And unfortunately, Ben doesn't get the sheep in the pen, but terrific trial. Ben Miller for New Zealand.
That was unlucky for Ben. He had a great trial, really, round 2, the pen. They've come out. Once you've started that walk, you can't stop. You've got to still shut that gate. So, unfortunately for Ben and the King, they will lose the value of the pen, which is 20 points. We'll get some scores in for the judges. As soon as we've got them, we'll bring them to you. I'll try and get a word with Ben as he comes off, but... We'll try and get a word from Ben as he's coming off. I know you'll be very disappointed, Ben. That was very bad luck there at the pen.
Yeah, probably just rushed it a bit, but anyway.
Hello, King.
Unfortunately, once you step out, you've got to keep going, don't you, at the pen there?
Yeah, that's the rules, so got to play by them.
You did a lot of work to get the team out here, Ben, you and Scott. Did you want to give anyone a shout out while you can?
Oh, all the sponsors. I think they've been coming up on the live stream. The boys and the filming crew have been doing a great job, so yeah, thank you.
They have. I know there's a lot of support back home in New Zealand for the team, so bad luck, Ben, but he'll still get a score that will come in a moment. We've got one worker left for each country. Next out for Australia will be Jim O'Connell with Kamara Blackmore. Jim is the captain of Australia. As he comes out, I'll try and grab a quick comment from Jim. Ben's a man of few words. It's hard for these guys to say something as they come off, particularly when things haven't quite gone to plan, but we appreciate all of the team members having a quick word to us. This is being live streamed all around the country and also over to New Zealand. So here comes Jim. Just grab a quick word with you, Jim, as you come out. Have you got anything you'd like to say this morning?
No, just hoping that I can get good sheep and keep them good.
We've had 3 solid runs to start us off, 3 pennings.
Yep.
You'll be looking to do the same?
Yes, absolutely. Hopefully. Yep. No, I will be.
You will be.
Yep.
All the best to you, Jim.
Okay.
This is Jim and Kamara Blackmore.
So Jim O'Connell with Kamara Blackmore, last competitor for Australia. It's an all-important last test. Blackmore's away, out to the right-hand side again. She'd come out a little bit jumpy. We'll see what happens when Blackmore introduces herself to them. Pulls it nice and early, feels that draw. Sheep just had a little bit of a walk towards the dog. And this critical lift. A bit of a jump, a bit of a run.
We've had the scores come in for Ben Miller, Working King. The Australian judge scored him a 61. New Zealand judge scored him a 68, giving him an average of 64.5. So over the 3 tests, Ben's put up a really solid performance for New Zealand with a total of 224. He'll be very disappointed after that run, but no doubt he's had a great test series here out in Australia.
Still a pretty handy run, adds to the New Zealand score. Pen's all important, but they were tricky, and maybe he just went a little bit early. He did have some time to get that gate shut. He didn't have to move when he did, and just that step out, he was pretty good the way he managed the gate, and he almost got him back in again, but unfortunately the sheep just got away from him, and that's a tough job to do.
It is tough when they've come out and you've made that commitment, you've stepped out of that ring and you've got to keep shutting that gate. It takes a fair amount of skill to get them back in before that gate shuts.
I've seen it done with a single sheep, but not all 3. When all 3 were out, he was in a bit of trouble, and the reason they came out is they didn't want to be there, so they weren't keen to get back in again. So just unfortunate for Ben, but and he was a bit disappointed, you can see, but he's done a great job for New Zealand, and he should congratulate himself because he's put on a show.
He certainly has put on a show, and these younger workers, him and Scott Hunter, they were instrumental in getting this New Zealand team out here to Australia. It was looking pretty dire a few months ago. It looked like they didn't have the funds to come out, so the 2 young ones, they took it upon himself to start raising some funds, and the support they received from the community over in New Zealand was extraordinary, and they managed to raise some decent funds to come out here. It's not a cheap exercise to come out, but this competition is so important, this Trans-Tasman rivalry. It happens, you know, in all sports, but for us in sheepdog trolling it is the ultimate, to be able to represent your country.
And it's unique, and we can't get to the World Championships very easily with dogs and travelling over to compete against the rest of the world in Europe. So it's unique for us to come and do this. Very specialised type of sheepdog trialling too, very different to the ISDS styles. And this combination of trials, it really works well, where we get an opportunity to work the New Zealand style of trialling and also the Australian style of trialling in a combined test.
It's a great mix, really, isn't it, this course? Great mix of Aussie rules and New Zealand rules.
And Ben's partner runs a little online business called Dog and Country, if you've got time to have a look. Some great products on there. And they provided their nice jackets. They got these great black, solid, warm jackets for the team. And she managed to provide that. And it's got all the sponsors on the back. So if you're at home and you're watching and you want to have a quick look at what the products that Ben's partner managed to put together. She's also over here doing preg testing for ewes in Australia, so busy worker. So Jim's managed to get those sheep around that whining peg. They just had a little bit of a run out there, and these sheep don't look really nice. There's one there that's wanting to run. So he's got his work cut out for trying and get him to settle and work nicely. It's that sheep closest to the dog that just wants to make a run for it. Blackmore scooting around the outside, keeping him together. She's pretty well onto whatever the sheep that gets going to give her grief, and it's that little one that comes out to the back. Away they go again. Blackmore's quickly onto the job. Jim, once he starts to walk, he's got to continue down that line. No, sheep have had a bit of a run now. So far he's just had a little bit of trouble getting these sheep to settle, like he'd like them to walk. Doesn't like that they're running. He'd love them to just settle and accept the dog, but at the moment they just keep wanting to challenge her. Twisting and turning, covering and holding. Brings them back around to the front of that gap to line them up for the drive. Rolls them around. Just not lifting off the dog steadily. They're popping up each time they move, and it gives a little bit of a skip of the heartbeat for Jim. He's got them lined up and away they go, the Australian captain. Keen to post a strong score as we get close to the end of this 3-test series. And the sheep are away, Jim's away. And that runner's running, and that's that same sheep. We thought he might be trouble, and boy, he could well be, she could well be, that little ewe. Sitting in the free working area now, Jim's ambling up. Just to bring them back around to the front. Oh, and Jim's on his bike, he's running. Oh, and that sheep squeezed by. He accelerated pretty quickly. I don't think anyone could have covered that, not even Jim. Certainly not Blackmore. She was having to bring the sheep back around, couldn't be in two places at once. So now, second opportunity. Rolls them around. And one's led up, that's good. Just shuffled them nicely and got them going in the right direction and straight through. Beautiful work. And Blackmore stays wide. Jim's on his bike, getting around there. Sets them up for the second half of that cross. Oh, they just pulled themselves out. Here we go, that's better. Position better. That lead sheep wants to run. Jim's onto it. And the other one goes around the back. Gosh, that's frustrating. He's taking the other two with him. Blackmore's bringing them back. Sheep in the front, that's the one that's causing all the grief. And that's the runner, lined up now. A little bit better lined up now, bit of position. Oh, and that sheep's having a go again. Jim's there to block. Blackmore's there to block. Now we've got another troubled sheep. Here we go. Lines them up, pops them through. Doesn't need them to come out running. So a little bit of trouble at the cross. Just not settled at the moment. Jim's away. Lines them up for the bridge, had a look. Right in front. Rolls them around, what can they do? Oh, turned out. like they were going there for a second and straight away just rolled back around. Sometimes a little bit of work here can help for the pen. Had a look again, rolled out. Here they go this time. Just milling around the front, not going, not leading up. Oh, block. Oh. Wow, that looked promising, but the pressure just got to that sheep and out he exploded. Jim's got to do it all again, bring him back in front. Lines them up. And that little one takes him around the side. One's been over. Frustrating little sheep. He doesn't want to play that sheep. He wants to run straight past Jim. So this is becoming a bit of a chore for Jim. Just get one of them to look. One's been over already. He knows where to go. Take him over. That's better. Through they go. So Jim's away. Sheep are away too, and they're running. Good little block by Blackmore. Just broke off course there. Back on course now. And they come off that bridge and they run, and it's pretty hard for the dog. He can't be in two places at once. He's in the front of the pen, front of the bridge forcing, and as they come off it, he's got to go and scoop them up again. And sometimes they come off the bridge and really get a head of steam up. They really run for it. So let's see what the pen looks like. Been trouble for everybody. Straight away they look to go down the side. Blackmore's there, got him good position. And they have to be really careful, I think. Just by the way, they've just got excited at the bridge. Here we go. Little shuffle. Inching forward. Heads up now. Oh, lovely bit of work by that dog. But that sheep, once again, came out. That's frustrating because they were in. And she looked to have them. We saw with Ben, they didn't stay in there, and they're not doing the same here with Jim. And now they're getting a bit excited and starting to run, so the wheels have fallen off just a little bit for Jim. He'd be really keen to get the gate shut. And those times got the better of him. Jim.
That was bad luck. That was Jim O'Connell with Kamara Blackmore. He's our Australian team captain, and unfortunately they had run out of time there at the end. Grab a word from Jim as he comes off the ground.
And the sheep just got a little bit tricky, and I guess that's the luck of the draw. The timing of the day, and as the morning becomes a little later, the sheep have just played up a little bit, especially at the pen, but just around the ground as well. So Jim was unfortunate to pick up those three because they really took him to town a little bit.
Be disappointed not to get the gate, mate?
Yes, Simone, they went in, but they didn't like it, and they came out before she had time, well, before I had time to step out.
You just had one that gave you grief the whole way around then.
Yeah, it couldn't see as well as even me. And it just played up all the way around. It didn't have good vision.
It's just the luck of the draw, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it was too good for us oldies.
Oh, well done. That was Jim O'Connell with Kamara Blackmore. We've got one worker left, and he's from New Zealand, Mr. Lloyd Smith, and he'll be working his dog guide. And hopefully he'll give us a comment as he comes out onto the ground. So close test, this one. And it's probably going to come down to this last dog, as you would expect. Best 4 handlers from each country are out here. Lloyd's got a wealth of experience. He's got a lot of numbers on his pocket. How are you feeling, Lloyd?
Well, a bit nervous, obviously, but hopefully we can get control of them and finish it.
Nerves are good, aren't they?
Well, they say nerves, it's something wrong if you're not nervous, so yeah.
You had a strong performance in the first test. You got put up a top score. A little bit of bad luck yesterday, but good luck for today.
Thank you very much.
So Lloyd Smith for the Kiwis, last competitor for this morning for the Trans-Tasman test. His dog guide casts out to the right hand side, and we'll see what 3 sheep he's got as he does a little introduction. Looks like he's got 2 big ones and a little one. So it all comes down to this for New Zealand. Can they catch the Aussies? Can they overtake them? It's very tight.
Lloyd Smith out here with guide. He had a great run in his first test. He put up a score of 84.25. And yesterday he put up a 65.5. He had a little bit of trouble at the pen in the second test, but he had a pretty solid run until he got to the pen. And that's been a bit of the story with the New Zealanders. They're still getting good scores because they're so clean as they go around the course.
Yeah, they're really well-trained dogs, and they handle these sheep very well, and certainly the drive sections, they just do it a little bit better than the Aussies, but the Aussies are good in the Aussie section, as you'd expect, and that little block and cover the dogs have got does help a lot when they're penning. But unfortunately for Jim O'Connell, he wasn't able to get those sheep in the pen. I had them in there, and they just popped out again, but that little sheep, he showed himself to be trouble from the very beginning.
That's right, and I think for Jim, he saw what happened with with young Ben Miller at the pen. He didn't want that to happen as well. He had them in there, but they just weren't settled, and then they came out.
Didn't leave himself a lot of time to get there. He had so much trouble at the cross and then at the bridge as well, and he just caught himself short of time. So sometimes creates a little bit of a rush at the pen. He got him in, and he was hoping they'd just stay there. But that sheep, as it did at the bridge, showed that it wasn't that interested in staying anywhere.
That's it. We're just watching for the scores to come in. They are being updated onto our Google sheet. There has been an adjustment to Grant Cook's score with Pendelup Gilbert. He was the first competitor out for Australia. His score has been adjusted. The Australian judge has given him a score of 51. The New Zealand judge a score of 49, which gave him an average of 50. And we're waiting for Jim O'Connell's score to come in. We'll try and get some comments from the judges at the end to find out what the issue was with Grant and Gilbert. There was obviously something. There was a bit of a conference out there for a little while. And we're just waiting for Jim's score to come through. Jim's score that needs to be, the judges need to have a look at, so we won't be able to give that one to you for a little while. So it's going to come down to this last run, and there's going to, we won't be able to announce the winner yet. There's going to be a little bit of making sure the cards are correct. We've got a scrutiny here from New Zealand. We've got Marissa Coogan, Pat's wife, is scrutineering the cards as they come in, and the Australian Secretary, Marion Whalen. So everything is above board, everything's being done correctly. We've also got a New Zealand scrutineer down at the yards to make sure that everything is done correctly. They've done quite a nice job here. Lloyd and Guide, as they've brought them down the ground. They're in a nice position here.
So Lloyd's managed to get those sheep down in pretty good shape around that winding peg. And so far so good. Put up a couple of good runs already in the previous two tests. Sheep had just had a bit of a run, breaking off to the right-hand side, and they got a head of steam up there. Guides around, catching them. Just gone away from him a little bit. So he's got one small one in the middle and that big guy at the front. That seems to be the one that's going to rear its ugly head and start testing the dog. It's leading them away. Good leader. If it leads it in the right direction, and they've really got run on. Here he goes, he's heading for home. Guide had to put a block in. Oof. It's a bit testy right at the moment. That sheep's still going towards the dog. It doesn't seem to be too frightened. Oops. So just a little bit of a hiccup from the handler. He thought he'd completed that obstacle, and it's been called back by the judge. He's got to pop them through. They made a run for it. They didn't go through the gap, unfortunately.
I think they might have gone through before he got there.
He got through before he got there. Needs to be in the set before the last sheep exits the obstacle. So he's just bringing them back to rework them. Pretty good position now. So it's all happening out here. Confusion. Sheep putting it to the dog. And now he's sorted his way into his drive. He's got one sheep that's pretty happy to be out the front. The other two are staying pretty close to it, so that's okay. And that's a different sheep to the one that let out earlier. And they're just lagging behind a little bit. There's always a risk of it flipping back and taking off. He's just guided them through beautifully. Well done, nicely done. Guides onto them, brings them back around. Oh, he's heading for home, that sheep. Just broke out wide and got past Lloyd, heading for the look at the let out. Guys there to bring them back, and the sheep have just changed a little bit as the mornings dragged on. We saw with Jim's run they were a little bit excited, and this is no different. It's just a little bit different to how they started the morning.
It's got a little bit warmer here though, hasn't it? Those early runs it was a little bit cooler.
The sun's come out and it's got a little bit warm out there, and the sheep are probably thinking about camping up for the afternoon. And they've been told to come out and play sheepdogs, and they're not happy about it. Well, here they go, lining up. Oh, a little break, good cover. Oh, everybody jumped in. That sheep was walking nicely and then it just popped up and got everybody on their toes. Still not right. It's in a good position. Brings the two together and pops them through. Nicely done. Still going ahead for home. You could see that sheep was not right in the head. It didn't want to be there. And every chance it gets, it's heading for home. Guide brings them back on course. Head down to the bridge, up the hill. They'll be pretty happy to walk towards the dog, this big sheep. Doesn't seem too concerned. Straight away it takes the ground the guide offers. She pulls her feet out and takes the ground again. Stepping into that free working area, across the line. They can take on the bridge. So the tension builds a little bit. Hasn't been as smooth a run as he would have liked. Not out of the running yet, still got the big points of the pen. He'd like to get him over this bridge if he could. Let's see if he can just down the side again. Just being nice and careful, but that sheep just is taking every advantage it can. It's not too worried about the dog. This looks better. You see the frustration. It's frustrating. And sheep's just not playing very nicely. You think you got him and he just spins out. Here we go. One's looking. Big guy joins them. That's better. Away they go. Over the bridge. A little bit of mucking around. Not too costly, but just a bit of a frustration. Taking the time away, and he's going to have to move along a little bit to give him a good clean shot at that pen. And the sheep have made a run for it again. It was always on the cards, that big guy wants to go home. So those three sheep heading towards the pen. What can he do? He's had a bit of a look. He's around the side. Lloyd Smith with guide. Checks his watch. Time's an issue. It's tight. If he can work them towards the front, he might get a crack. Here we go. There they come. Rolls them around, pops them in. Gets that gate shut, he's going for it. Lloyd Smith and guide for New Zealand, getting the gate shut.
That was Lloyd Smith with guide. He was the fourth and final worker in this Trans-Tasman Test Series. How did you go, Lloyd?
Well, it ended up a bit of a slam dunk. We've got him in, so that was the main thing.
Sometimes you have to do that though, don't you?
Well, it was a matter of coming down to that in the finish, yeah.
That was beautiful work just to roll them into the pen there at the finish.
Yeah, no, possibly a bit of good luck with it, but yeah, but it worked.
You've got to have a bit of good luck in this game.
You do, yeah, no, just good luck certainly helps. And, yeah, it's a silly old game we play, but we have a lot of fun trying to do it.
We do. So that's Lloyd Smith.
I'd just like to put a wee word in for the sponsors and people that helped us get us here, the support we've had from family and friends, and a wee special mention to the grandchildren that I know are watching back home.
I know these guys have had a lot of support from back home, so yeah, it's good that we're able to bring this to all your family and friends back home in New Zealand.
Yeah, thanks, Simone. Yeah, absolutely.
No worries, we're just going to have a short break, tally up the scores, and then we'll have a result in this Trans-Tasman Test Series.
So Simon Leaning's had to go and get his dog because he's first out in the Supreme Top 10, which will be running shortly after we have all the scores checked and ticked off. So as soon as they're out there, we'll probably try to have a little presentation of the Cup, and we'll see how we go.
Okay, sorry for the delay there. We're just getting both teams back out onto the ground. For those of you that are following the Google sheet, you'll see what the results are. In a close test over 3 rounds, I can announce that the winner this year of the Wayleggo Cup, unfortunately for Australia, that cup is going back across the ditch. Congratulations to New Zealand, the team of Mark Copeland, Scott Hunter, Ben Miller and Lloyd Smith, and their judge manager Pat Coogan. They have scored 808.5. The Australian team, which was consistent of Jim O'Connell, David Lacey, Anthony Ireland and Grant Cook, with our judge manager Bernard McGlashan, scored 799.5. So you couldn't get much closer. I'll ask Janelle Vella, our representative from Hi-Pro, to present the cup to the winning captain, Mark Copeland. I'll just see if I can grab a word from the winning captain. Congratulations, Mark.
Close run thing, Simone. Yeah, thank you.
It was a very close run in the end.
It was, down to the final count, the final seconds. Lloyd had trouble on the bridge and early was called back at the gap, but he made it happen. He slam dunked, or you might call him in basketball terms, I suppose.
It was a slam dunk. Yeah, and how does this feel to take that cup back across the ditch?
Spiritual and rightful home, eh?
Debatable. But congratulations.
Just a quick word. I'd like to thank you very much for the invitation to be here, to Dog Pro, your guys sponsoring this, your major event. The people of Stanforth have been the most accommodating, right down to accommodation. It's been a privilege and a pleasure to be here with you guys. So thank you.
Thanks, Mark. We always love welcoming you guys, and you're great ambassadors for your country of New Zealand, so well done.
Thank you.
I'll just get a word from our captain. Sorry, I got my back to the camera. Wasn't the result we wanted, Jim, but it was a hard-fought test.
It was a hard-fought test, yes, and as you said, not the result we wanted, but we move on.
We do. So that concludes the Trans-Tasman test at this year's Dog Pro Supreme Australian Championship at Stanthorpe. We're going to change the course and then we'll be back with the top 10 at this year's Dog Pro Supreme Australian Championship.